So the concept of Internet Plus actually was coined by the Chinese government a few years ago. And if you read the definition from the government very carefully, it basically says that the Chinese companies should leverage the internet technologies like cloud, big data, analytics, and all that to help them grow in different industry verticals like e-commerce or finance or manufacturing. So that was basically the definition from the government. And from the sound of it, you can see that it was very industry-oriented. But in our research, we actually have identified that this concept, in its essence, is the same as what we call the digital business. Why do we say that? Because if you think about all the technologies mentioned in the definition, these are all digital technologies. And the way that the government wants companies to use these technologies to drive their business, to expand overseas, actually to optimize their operations and be more successful. And our definition of digital business, we say digital business is how companies use digital technologies to first create value for the end users, the consumers, and then two, to streamline your internal operations. And the reasons behind Internet Plus and digital business are basically the same because the world is going digital. Your consumers are becoming digital, your markets are becoming digital, and your competition is becoming digital. And then you just have to do it. If we compare the two definitions, the Forrester one and the one for Internet Plus from the Chinese government, you can tell that there is a major difference, that is the consumer piece of it. So we say that digital business has to create new value for the consumers, for the customers. In addition to doing that, companies can use these technologies to optimize their operations. So we say that the Chinese companies, they've been talking about Internet Plus for years. Some of them actually don't like the term very much. Some of them started to use another term called Plus Internet because that would emphasize the plus part of the equation, meaning that not only do you have to have Internet, the connectivity piece of it, actually on top of the connectivity, you need to have the plus part of it, which is how you use data to run your analytics and how you turn your data into insights and then your insights into actions. So that's the plus part. And then from what I can see, a lot of companies are actually doing a lot of work, and they have invested heavily in Internet Plus. So some of the banks, for example, they have gone very digital in their e-commerce platforms, their digital payments, their fintech initiatives and all that, and these are all part of their Internet Plus initiatives. But what we're seeing is that they're still lacking the consumer part of it, because everything that they do right now comes from within, from inside, thinking that how do I make my business model better? But what they're lacking is that how do I provide new value to my customers using the digital technology. So we're not seeing a lot of Chinese companies doing that because right now they're still looking at their own operations, but they're not really, thinking about the customers. And that's what we call it, the customer-obsessed strategy. You have to think about your customers first. Of course, you want to think about your operations, but you want to think about your customers first and address their issues first and foremost before you come down to your own operations. And that will determine the success of modern digital businesses.